of Israel. And that's Micah 5, 2 and 3. And then Matthew 2, 1 through 6. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judah, in the days of the Herod of the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are coming to worship him. When the Herod, the king, had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes and people together, he demanded that of them that Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people in Israel.
Okay. And then the next one is going to be John. I'm going to turn there too. John 7, 40 through 42.
John 7, 40 through 42. Okay. Many of the people.
Byron's going to get that one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Byron.
That's okay. He's going to get the next two.
That's divisions and unbelief. When the crowds unheard him say this, am I on the right one?
7, 40.
John 7.
Yeah, that was right.
Okay.
Yep.
When the crowds heard him say this, some of them declared, Surely this man is the prophet we've been expecting. Others said, He is the Messiah. Still others said, But he can't be. Will the Messiah come from the Galilee?
Galilee. Yep.
For the scriptures clearly state that the Messiah will be born of the royal line of David in Bethlehem, the village where King David was born.
Okay. And while you're looking that one up, I just wanted to say something. So, Wes read Micah 5, 2 through 3. That's the actual prophecy. That's where the Old Testament prophet is given a prophecy that he's going to be born. He's going to be born in Bethlehem. And then he read another name, which was right after Bethlehem, and it's Ephrathah. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it actually means the same thing. It actually means Bethlehem. When you look it up, that's what it means. And so it was specific enough to say what city that he was actually going to be born in, and that it would be, or it said, the way it's worded is where he would come from. Okay, so they were questioning what you just read in John. Now, what you read in Matthew, it says that he was born in Bethlehem. And then what you read in John, they're questioning it. But what they're doing, it didn't say the religious leaders, the chief priests, it just said the people. Whoever was in that crowd, there was a bunch of people that were questioning whether he could be the Messiah, because Jesus was raised in Galilee of Nazareth of Galilee, excuse me. And so that's what was really throwing them off. But the prophecy was that he would come from Bethlehem. And he was actually born in Bethlehem. But we know the story. He didn't stay there. That's not where they raised Jesus. They might have stayed there for a little while, but it wasn't very long. He was actually raised in Nazareth of Galilee. And so that's why they were questioning it. And so it's just good to have some background understanding of some things when you're going through some of this. So I just wanted to throw that in there. All right.
Ready?
Yep.
The birth of Jesus. At the time, the Roman Emperor Augustus decreed that a census should be taken throughout the Roman Empire. This was the first census taken when, how you say that guy's name?
Caesar Augustus.
The census was taken when Quirinius Quir.
Oh, Quirinius.
Okay. Was governor of Syria. All returned to their own ancestral towns to register for the census. And because Joseph was a descendant of King David, he had to go to Bethlehem in Judea, David's ancient home. He traveled there from the village of Nazareth in Galilee. He took with him Mary, to whom he was engaged, who was now expecting a child. And when they were there, the time came for her baby to be born. She gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him snugly in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no lodging available for them.
All right. Okay. So, obviously, I already said, but there was a misunderstanding by the people that were mentioned in John 7. And the understanding, I already explained, that although Jesus was raised in Nazareth of Galilee, he was born in Bethlehem, as was spoken by Micah the prophet. And so there is no confusion here. This is just one prophecy. I mean, stop and think about that. I can't remember how much we had read it in that last Bible study. I don't know if you remember.
321.
You know where I'm going. You already know. It was like 230-something years prior.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Oh, so I think it was more like 500 or 600 years prior that Micah the prophet prophesied that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem.
I think it was 300.
I mean,
yeah.
Dude, the mathematical probability of just that one to say that a specific person is going to be born in Bethlehem, and then that person's going to be the Messiah. He's going to be the one. And then hundreds of years prior, he's prophesying that. Nailed it. This was not just Micah speaking. This was God speaking through the prophet Micah. It's absolutely amazing. And so that's just the first one that we're going to go through. We're going to go through all 8 of them. But look, I want to encourage you guys in your Christian faith. I want to encourage you that when there's those kind of mathematical odds in favor of this book, or really this is 66 books inside the cover here, man, we can have confidence that what we have in our hand is the Word of God. It is God's Word. It is not possible for an ordinary man to make this happen. There's been atheists around the world that have tried to say, well, you know, they conspired together to put it together and make that happen. It's not possible. Why would I say that? Because it was over 40 plus authors, I don't want to say authors, writers of the Bible. We know God's the author. Over 40 plus. And then they were from 3 different continents of the world. And then on top of that, at multiple different times in history. They didn't even live in the same time in history. And then because different manuscripts and pieces of manuscripts have been scattered all over those 3 continents, and then now you find them in the other continents also because of the copies of the manuscripts that have been made, prints and things like that, they're able to verify that the message is accurate and true. So if you find 5 pieces of the same manuscript, and all 5 of those pieces are slightly different, and so if you just have one of those, you're missing something. But then you go to the next one, okay, that one's missing something, but it has something that the first one didn't have. And then you go down the line, all 5 of them, they're able to take, we don't just have 5. For the New Testament, there's over 10,000. Whether it's complete manuscripts or pieces or fragments of manuscripts, over 10,000 copies of the New Testament. Now in the Old Testament, there's fewer, there's less, right? Because it's much older, and what they were writing it on was not very reliable. The papyrus was actually from a plant. They would scribe things on papyrus and on plant matter. They would press it and they would compile it, and then they would put it between 2 pieces of wood to be like the book cover, so to speak. And that just doesn't last forever, And so, but then you had the stone and things like that also, which is much more reliable. But it's just really, it's really something that we can take a lot of confidence in. So number 2, the next prophecy. So the first one was the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem. The second prophecy is there will be a messenger to prepare the way for the Messiah. Okay? And then John Juno, Isaiah 40 and verse 3. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to follow with you. Well, I have it. Here we go. So it's Isaiah chapter 40, verse 3. So who do y'all think he's talking about? I'm sure somebody knows. Who will be the messenger to prepare the way for the Messiah to come? Is someone in the New Testament? It's family. It's Jesus' family member. A kindred. Because all right, we'll find out. I was giving you some hints. Oh, go ahead. What you got?
John the Baptist.
John the Baptist.
John the Baptist.
Brent Robertson nailed it. Okay, so Isaiah 40, verse 3. This is the first prophecy on this one. Okay.
The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God.
Okay, that's the first one. And you want to take Malachi 3:1 as well? That should be the last book of the Old Testament. Oh, you're already there.
Yeah, I played it smart. I got very.
You played it smart.
Multiple bookmarks. Oh yeah, ain't played.
Right. Give me a second. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm trying. 3:1. Okay, I'm ready. Thank you.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts.
Okay. So he says, behold, I am going to send my messenger. He will clear the way before me. That's what he said in that one. I'm just trying to highlight it. And then chapter 40, verse 3, you had already read, a voice is calling, clear the way for the Lord in the wilderness. In the wilderness. These are some key words in here to really make it obvious. Go ahead, and John, you can just go ahead, and because those are really short, you may as well get Matthew 3, 1 through 3.
I can read it.
I'm coming to you.
Okay.
Yeah, since they were so short, I figured I'd give them some more. We got so much to read here. There'll be plenty for everybody. Everyone likes to read in here, man. Like nobody is ever not wanting to read, and I like that. It's nice.
In those days came John the Baptist, preaching in the wilderness of Judea, and saying, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. For this is he that was spoken of by the prophet Esaias.
It's Isaiah. It's probably spelled different.
Yeah, spelled with an E. It kind of messed me up.
Yeah, it's a Greek translation.
Saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his paths straight.
Yes. Does that sound like a match to y'all?
Yeah.
I would say so. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you to do chapter 11, verses 7 through 10, and then after you do that one, we'll go to, what's the name again? I'm sorry.
Gerald.
Gerald. Okay, Gerald. I'm terrible with names.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
Matthew 11.
Chapter 11, verses 7 through 10.
And as they departed, Jesus began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, What went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in the king's house. But what ye out for to see? A prophet? Yeah, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. For he is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send a messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee.
Okay, so he's quoting it now. He's quoting one of the prophets when he puts that in there. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I think that was, I want to say that would have been the one in Malachi that he was quoting, but whatever the case, it's real clear there. Okay, Gerald, you want to do the John 7?
John 1, 19 through 23.
Did I say the wrong one? Y'all keep me straight. John 1, I'm sorry. Thank you. Somebody needs to keep me straight. John 1 and then verses 19 through 23. It's the Gospel of John, not 1st or 2nd or 3rd John. It'll be after Matthew, Mark, and Luke in the beginning of the New Testament.
Let's see here.
Page 866.
John the Baptist declares his mission. This is John's testimony when the Jewish leaders sent priests and temple assistants from Jerusalem to ask John. Is this correct?
Yep, that's right, buddy.
Who are you? He came right out and said, I am not the Messiah. Well then, who are you? They asked. Are you Elijah? No, he replied. Are you the prophet we are expecting? No. Then who are you? We need an answer for those who sent us. What do you have to say about yourself? John replied in the words of the prophet Isaiah, I am the voice shouting in the wilderness, clear the way for the Lord's coming. Yeah, that's the end of 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
As Isaiah the
yeah.
prophet. Did it say anything about Isaiah the prophet at the end of that verse?
Oh, sorry, mine's the
Okay.
English standard, so y'all was kind of.
That's the New English?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. And Luke, you know where Luke's at, right? You can go to the left. It's the book right before that, so it should be easy. You don't have to go far. It'll be Luke chapter 1. Yeah, you're right there. So it'll be Luke chapter 1, and Wesley and Blake are going to keep me straight. Verses 11 through 17.
Okay. All right. While Zechariah was in the sanctuary, and angels of the Lord appeared to him, standing to the right of the incense altar. Zechariah was shaken and overwhelmed with fear when he saw him. But the angel said, Don't be afraid, Zechariah. God has heard your prayers. Your wife Elizabeth will give you a son, and you are to name him John. You will have great joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth, for he will be great in the eyes of the Lord. He must never touch wine or other alcoholic drinks. He will be filled with the Holy Spirit even before his birth, and he will turn many Israelites to the Lord their God. He will be a man with the spirit and power of Elijah. He will prepare the people for the coming of the Lord. He will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and he will cause those who are rebellious to accept the wisdom of the godly. And then that's right.
All right. That's good, man. Thank you. And that one where he says, what was it? Well, I wanted to say about the vow that John the Baptist had taken. You remember Samson, the story about Samson in the Old Testament, and how he took what they call a Nazarite vow? And so that vow was where you don't drink any wine. He wasn't allowed to cut his hair. It didn't say that here, did it? It just said he wouldn't have any strong drink or wine, liquor, or anything like that. But it looks like a Nazarite vow, the same type of vow or a similar vow as to what Samson had to take. And I just thought that was interesting. So Jesus grew up in Nazarene, and but he did not take a Nazarite vow per se. So anyway, this is real clear to me when you look at this, how it says the part about, where was it? Man, I lost my place. Yeah, there was something else. I don't know. I may have just.
You shall go forth with him, the spirit of the power of Elijah, turn the hearts of the fathers and children, and disobedient to wisdom and justice, to make ready for the future return from the enemy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's touching on his birth when he was about to be born, and Zechariah is his dad, so that's who Zechariah is. That's where you started reading, and it was talking about Zacharias. So he was actually appointed to be the priest to go into the temple that year and do the ordinances that the assigned person was supposed to do. But he happened to be the father of John the Baptist. And so it's just making it clear.
Jesus' uncle, cousin.
That would have been his uncle. Well, no, yeah, that would have been his uncle. Because John the Baptist, I believe John the Baptist was I don't know that he was his first cousin. I don't really know that. I'm going to backtrack on that. I don't know for a fact. I guess if you studied the genealogies, you probably could figure it out. But I can't say I've done that, so I don't know.
I know Baptist.
What? Baptist.
Baptist. Was Baptist.
Oh, Baptist. I got you. Is that the Greek word or something?
Yeah. I don't know if it's Greek or what. That's where John the Baptist got the name.
The name Baptist.
Baptizing people.
Right.
The word Baptist. Yeah.
Right.
And I believe that's not
Yeah.
I don't know if
No, that makes sense.
Greek or what.
Yep. So I got a question in the notes. It says, do you find these scriptures give evidence that John the Baptist, who was who the prophets were speaking about? I find it to be very evident to me.
Oh, there's no like black and white answer? I thought there was a black and white answer.
There
Wait.
is.
Okay.
Baptist is your name. They give it the Latin or Greek word.
Oh, the certain.
Baptist. The one who baptizes or.
I got you. I see where you're going. So it's like he had that title, but then it became his surname, his last name.
Yep.
I mean, that's how everybody referred to him, John the Baptist. I mean, no, it's a sure thing, but I try not to be, I try not to be dogmatic, but I feel like it is dogmatic, right? I mean,
That's what Brent Robertson put him back.
Back
Yeah.
then, people didn't really have names. Last names just come about.
say it again.
Back then, people didn't have last names that were
It's the 1500s?
60.
16? Oh, he's saying last names weren't around back then?
a bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh, she was lying.
So. So he's saying your sure name
Certainly.
back then would be like, if I was a carpenter, I'd be sogging the carpenter. In other words, it was a reflection of what you did, and like he was using his last name, like Robert's son, he'd be the son of Robert.
So how would you explain Judas Iscariot? How would you explain that?
Did you hear that, Brent? Brent, did you hear that? Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, somehow you got muted, but I was explaining what you were saying. But he said, how would you explain what?
Yeah, how would you explain Judas Iscariot? His name Iscariot.
I think it's on his end.
Yeah. It's really hard to hear you. I don't know, something's going on. I think it's on
Move
your
that
end.
beard out the way.
I don't know if you're talking through your beard or what, but it's really muffled.
Brent, you got my number, don't you? FaceTime my phone, and maybe it'll be louder, so everybody can hear you.
Yeah, it's really hard to hear you, and we know that I want to be able to hear what you're saying. So I can call you to the carpet. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't FaceTime him. Brent done blocked everybody. You can't call his phone. Go straight to voicemail.
He called me. I tried
Did he?
twice. Yeah, and then
He's
he finally
called me.
called.
But you can't call
You
him.
can't call him. Yeah, he said there's something weird going on with his phone.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to FaceTime you now.
Hey, he's calling you. He's trying to FaceTime you.
Y'all need to get it
unblock him
together.
first.
Y'all are out of control. There he is. My boy. That's my boy.
He's saying it's just a town in Judea, and that's where he's from.
Iscariot? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Is that on speaker?
Yeah, I mean, I have.
It's on his end.
Yeah, it's on speaker. Yeah, I think maybe Brent's mic is too far away or something. That may be why we're not getting the clarity. Yeah, I can hear you. You're just not loud.
It's just not, the volume's not very high.
It's not as boisterous as whenever you're in person, Brent.
Yeah.
It's all of our projection.
Yeah.
Yeah, projection, man. You gotta project. You gotta say it like you mean it.
It's not like having you in the room, buddy.
Yep. Okay. All right, I appreciate that. All right, so we left off on that. Okay, yeah. So to me, it was kind of a rhetorical question. Do you find these scriptures give evidence that John the Baptist, who the prophets were speaking about? I find it to be very evident. I mean, very evident. Some of the wording is almost exactly the same. We know that, he lived in the wilderness. We know that, and that the prophet, one of the prophets specifically used that word, which you got to keep in mind that this is translated into English from Greek. Most of the New Testament was originally given to them in Greek, whereas the Old Testament was in Hebrew. So the language changed. That puts a little bit of a strain on things. But anyway, I find it to be real evident. So that's another prophecy that Jesus fulfilled. Or shall I say, Jesus fulfilled it through John the Baptist. It was directly pertaining. You said something? Oh. But he's still on team.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You're still on team, so Brent.
Yeah, he's still there. Oh, okay. Cool. All right, so number 3, the Messiah will ride into Jerusalem on a donkey. Talking about Jesus, will ride into Jerusalem on a donkey.
Zechariah 9:9.
Zechariah 9:9. Give me a moment, I want to get there with you. Zechariah 9:9. Is everybody ready? Okay.
The coming of Zion's king. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and having salvation, gentle and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey.
Okay. So that's the prophecy when it was given. And then Luke 19, 30 through 37.
Oh man.
You had it marked?
Yeah, you good. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 second.
You all right?
Give me 1 second. Yeah, you good.
You're in Matthew. Luke's to the right.
Yeah,
You're not far. You're real close.
I had Matthew.
That's okay. Hold that because you're going to end up reading it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be Luke 19 next. He's going to be it. Wesley Dane is trying to read other people's scriptures.
Luke 19, 30 through 37.
All right. We're good.
Go to the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there, which no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you why you are untying it, tell him the Lord needs it. Those who were sent ahead went and found it just as he had told them. As they were untying the colt, its owner asked them, "Why are you untying the colt?" They replied, "The Lord needs it." They brought it to Jesus, threw their cloaks on the colt, and put Jesus on it. As he went along, people spread their cloaks on the road. When he came near the place where the road goes down the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began joyfully to praise God in loud voices for all the miracles they had seen.
Okay. Does that look like a good fulfillment of that prophecy?
Solid.
I mean, man, he straight up says, humble and mounted on a donkey, even a colt, the foal of a donkey.
6.
I'd say he nailed it. Okay, and then the next one is Matthew 21,
6 through 11.
6 through 11. I think we're ready. All right.
The disciples went and did as Jesus had instructed them. They brought the donkey and the colt, placed their cloaks on them, and Jesus sat on them. A very large crowd spread cloaks on the road, while others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. The crowds went ahead of him, and those that followed shouted, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest!" Is it 6 through 11? When Jesus entered Jerusalem, the whole city was stirred and asked, "Who is this?" The crowd answered, "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee."
Okay. So there it is again. It's just more confirmation, more of the same, from a different perspective. And but it's very clear to me, how easy would it be for one man to arrange the donkey and the colt, then coordinate that the crowds of the people to shout praises to him, and then make it happen in Jerusalem? I mean, that's what the prophecies called. It called out donkey, a colt. It called out that there was going to be praises given to him, and then it was going to happen in Jerusalem. I mean, when you add up all those factors, okay, it's hard enough. This is hundreds and hundreds of years prior, okay, that it's being prophesied. But it would be hard enough to just get the Messiah to do to get the donkey and the colt ride on it, okay, to ride on a donkey. Then you're adding to that the part about them praising him. Now it's really getting more difficult, because now you'd have to have a conspiracy going on where you could somehow get the word out and have all these people show up, large crowds of people, and then they would actually shout praises and worship him. And then it has to happen in Jerusalem. I mean, man, there's got to be some serious coordinating going on, for that to happen. And it as hard as it is for just one prophecy to be fulfilled, to think that he fulfilled over 320 of them. Like, what kind of conspiracy power would it take to pull all that together You know, it's just not likely. All right, and then number 4, a close friend will betray the Messiah. A close friend will betray the Messiah. I believe it goes to my friend Mr. Wesley Daniels. Psalms 41. What? Psalm 41:9. I'm turning myself.
It's about healing. 41.
It's over here.
41:9. Yet my own familiar friend, who I trusted, which did eat of the bread, had lifted up his heel against me.
Okay, and then he's going to go to chapter 55.
Yeah, I was there.
It's all right. There's no rush, man. We're good. Isaiah 55. Psalms 55, 12 through 14.
For it was not an enemy that reproached me. Then I could have bore it. Neither was it he had hated me that he did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it is thou, a man mine equal, my guide, mine acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of God in company.
Yep. That's the prophecy. Y'all already know the fulfillment, but we're going to read them anyway.
Yeah, let's see, Matthew.
So we go to Matthew 10:4.
10:4. Simon the Canaanite and Judea Icarite, who also betrayed him, these 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And
That was it. It was just verse 4, just because it refers to Judas as the one who betrayed him.
So yours said Simon, the what?
Canaanite?
Mine says the Zealot.
Yeah, the zealot.
Zealot?
Yeah, zealot.
Canaanite. The Simon the Canaanite and Judas is correct.
Huh.
Canaanite,
Canaanite.
that's a place. The zealot, that's like an adjective, right?
Yeah, zealot was someone that,
Like overzealous, like real passionate about something.
yeah, they would fight, they would
A
kill.
radical political party working for the violent overthrow of the Roman rule in Israel.
There you go. Say it again.
Zelenites, a radical political party working for the violent overthrow of Roman rule in Israel.
That's it. That's the actual meaning of a zealot in that sense. Or I don't know. I guess that would be the same for the Canaanite.
I thought that was Canaanite. I thought that was like a place.
Well, yeah, it was. Canaan.
Canaan.
It came from Canaan. You know, the place. Canaan. The place Canaan came from a person named Canaan.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you're a Canaanite, that's usually what that would mean. Now, in this context, that may be different in this context, because obviously it is. So, and that's the King James?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the King James. All right. So, yeah, that's obviously the way that would be explained. Okay, so that was that one, and then there is also chapter 26, 49 through 50.
And forthwith he came unto Jesus and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. And Jesus said unto him, Friend, therefore art thou come. Then came they and laid hands on Jesus and took him.
Okay, so there's the actual betrayal. That's where it actually happens. And then you want to just take that last one, John 13:21.
When Jesus had thus said, he was troubled in the spirit and testified and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me.
There it is. Okay. Excuse me. So that's actually Jesus saying, he's honing it down. So the prophets, the prophet David.
Actually goes on the 30th. It says, and then the disciples looked at one another, doubting of whom he spake. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples, whom Jesus loved, Simon Peter, therefore beckoning to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. He then, lying on Jesus' breast, said unto him, Lord, who is it? Jesus answered, He it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped in. I'm assuming that's like a biscuit.
It's the bread, yeah, that they were eating.
And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it unto Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And after the sop, Satan entered into him, and Jesus said unto him, That thou doest, do quickly. Now no man at the table knew for what intent he spake unto him. For some of them thought, because Judas had the bag, that Jesus had said unto him, Buy those things that we have needed against the feast, or that he should give us some to the poor. He then, having received the sop, went immediately out, and it was night.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had cut you off in the middle of your reading. My bad. So sop in the King James, in mine, the NASB, it says morsel, which isn't a whole lot easier to understand, but I think it's a little bit easier. But yeah, it would be the unleavened bread. They would have been using unleavened bread to take communion. That's what they would have been using for bread. And so he was going to dip it into the wine, and he told him, he said, whoever I give it to, that's the one who's going to betray me. And remember David, David's a prophet, right? I mean, David has many, many prophecies in his Psalms. But David prophesied that there was going to be a close companion. It was going to be someone that was a friend. And here Jesus even prophesies before it actually happens. He calls it out. And he hones it down to where it's not just a friend, but it's actually one of the 12. And then in that moment, nobody knows who it is yet except Jesus. And then when Jesus gives the sop, the morsel, the bread that he dipped in the wine, he gives it to Judas, then it's like their eyes are open and they realize, okay, like he's not just talking noise, empty words, like it's one of us. And I'm sure it was difficult to wrap their heads around it, like they were like, Lord, is it I? Lord, is it me? Who is it? It's really hard to accept because the 12 of them were very close, He had called them and they answered the call to follow him. So anyway, man, that's pretty remarkable to me that David prophesied it twice. And in both places in Psalms, it's slightly different the way he communicates it. But it's clear. It's talking about a betrayal. Talking about someone that's close. Someone that's a friend. Man, David lived, here it is, how is it possible? How possible would it be for a man to know that this would happen approximately 1,005 years prior? And that's the approximation of what many Bible scholars think David would have been about 1,005 years prior to the life of Jesus. Because they're not 100% convinced on exactly what year Jesus was born, but it's most that I've read and that I can remember, it's between 1 BC and 4 or 5 BC. They believe somewhere in there is where Jesus was actually born. So it would come out to about that.
And it don't just come out and say it here too, but your next one, number 5, that it be sold for 30 pieces of silver. It actually mentions it in here, but it says, it says that the other disciples thought that Judas had the bag, and that was to help buy the thing that was needed for the feast, for the Lord's Supper that night.
Hmm.
That's why they thought he had the little silver bag. They didn't know that that was what he got for betraying.
I got you. Huh.
Because your neck was on the Bible.
Yeah.
The would be something 30 pieces of silver.
Right. You got Zechariah? 11, 12, number 5. So Zechariah is one of the last books of the Old Testament. So if you, oh, you already got it. You're ready. I like it.
You ready? And I said to them, if you like, give me my wages, whatever I am worth, but only if you want to. So they counted out for my wages 30 pieces of silver.
So he's saying, give me my wages. Wages for what? It's predicting the betrayal for Judas to turn Jesus over to them. And so it was done in 2 different ways. So first, he went and he made the deal with them. They agreed on 30 pieces of silver for the betrayal. And the deal was that Judas was going to let them know where Jesus was going to be and when and where they could find him so that they could take him away, take him captive. And so there was the deal that they made when they agreed on it. And then there was another meeting when Judas had to go and let them know, hey, he's going to be in the Garden of Gethsemane. And the Garden of Gethsemane, when we did some of the archaeology papers that we were looking at, it shows that it's actually at the foot of the Mount of Olives is where Garden of Gethsemane is. Okay, so the next one, Byron.
Matthew 26:15.
Yes, sir.
And asked, how much will you pay for me to betray Jesus to you? And they gave him 30 pieces of silver.
Okay. There it is. Matthew 26:15, and then now we're going to go to 27:3.
When Judas, who had betrayed him, realized that Jesus had been condemned to die, he was filled with remorse. So he took the 30 pieces of silver back to the leading priests and the elders.
Okay, and that leads us into the next one, but I'll just read. It says, who would expect it to go down like this? And this is just me speaking. In my mind, I would expect a back and forth negotiation. It didn't take a whole lot of arm twisting on either side, whether it was Judas or the chief priest. I mean, they came to an agreement pretty quick. In my mind, I'm thinking, like, this is a big deal. That just shows how much Judas was wrapped up in the greed for money. I mean, you could look at it a different way and say, yeah, but seems like greed would have made him like, no, you have to give me more than 30, but it's almost like he just had his eye on that money and he just wanted it so bad. And maybe he was just trying to make sure that there was no way they were going to back out on the deal. But I would have expected that there would have been more of a discussion, more of a negotiation. And maybe there was, and it's just not recorded. I don't know that, but it's as though God hardened the hearts, their hearts, so that it seemed to happen with such ease. They were so hard-hearted. Judas was, the chief priests were. Judas just knew that he wanted the money, and the chief priests just knew they wanted Jesus. They wanted to get possession of Jesus. And so they settled on 30 pieces of silver. Boom. That's simple. So I just thought that was interesting. What do y'all think about that? Any other thoughts?
It was written, so it's kind of like, everything we're discussing, like, it had to happen, regardless of the amount. Like, it was going to happen.
Right. That's exactly right.
If it didn't happen the way it did, if Jesus didn't let it happen, then he would have been going against God's will. So
that's right.
It had to happen. It
had to happen. That's right. Yeah, I was just thinking, in my mind, I was thinking that there would be like, okay, how about 20? And Judas say, no, I'm thinking 25, and then they keep going back and forth until it gets to 30, and then boom. But like you said, it had to be 30, no doubt. It was not going to be, it couldn't be any other way. That's right, because of prophecy, for God to be correct, for God to be right. He said how it was going to play out, and that's exactly how it did play out. Good point. So then, this is still connected to that. The Messiah will be sold. Well, we already did that. The money prophesied to be thrown to the potter in God's house. Okay? So it's back to Zechariah again. It's really just the next verse. You want to go ahead and read that one since you're already there? And we'll give John the number 6. We'll go to John on number 6.
And the Lord said to me, throw it to the potter, this magnificent sum at which they valued me. So I took the 30 coins and threw them to the potter in the temple of the Lord.
Okay, so just want to make sure that that we don't just, graze over it, but that we actually see what's being pointed out here. He's talking about throwing it to the potter. That's something specific that it's referring to. And then it talks about the price, the magnificent price at which I was valued by them. And then again, it actually says it again, 30 shekels of silver. And it says that it was thrown to the potter in the house of the Lord. And that's exactly how it went down. So we're going to go there and we'll read it. But that's exactly how it went down.
Got it?
Matthew 20, one moment. Matthew
27, verse 3.
I am ready.
When Judas, who had betrayed him, realized that Jesus had been condemned to die, he was filled with remorse. So he took the 30 pieces, silver back to the leading priest and the elders. You read that one already.
Yeah, you can keep going. We're going to go all the way to verse 7. Yeah, we did read that, but we're going to keep going.
I have sinned, he declared, for I have betrayed an innocent man. Why do we care? They retorted. That's your problem. Then Judas threw the silver coins down at the temple and went out and hanged himself. The leading priest picked up the coins. It wouldn't be right to put this money in the temple treasury, they said, since it was payment for murder. After some discussion, they finally decided to buy the potter's field, and they made it into a cemetery for foreigners.
All right. There it is, the potter's field. And then it actually shows where he threw the money down. And so that was mentioned in the prophecy as well.
I have a little study Bible, and it was telling me that also that was the prophecy from Jeremiah as well. So all of that also,
Yeah, it's
mentioned in Jeremiah as well.
I know why they're saying that. So there's different, and I'm not saying that I have a particular view, but I've read about that. In one of the prophecies, it actually is quoting Jeremiah. It's saying that it was in Jeremiah's prophecy. But what we read, when you look in the book of Jeremiah, there's nothing there in the actual book of Jeremiah. So what some Bible scholars or theologians, what they believe is that the way the parts of the Old Testament were divided up way back in that time, in Jesus' day, they grouped certain prophets together in a book or in a set of scrolls. You know how they would roll it up, right? And you'd pull it out, and then you'd have to flip through Isaiah, Jeremiah, to go to the one that you were looking for. But they were kind of grouped almost like they were in a book together. But they would call it the prophecy of Jeremiah. Probably, and this is what they're saying, this is just me, I'm parroting what I read. They say it would probably be because Jeremiah would have been the first book in that set, in that subset of the Old Testament. Because I went and I researched and I looked, and I scoured through the scripture looking in Jeremiah trying to find a prophecy on this, and it's just not there. So that was, I thought, a really good explanation, which could possibly be. And then that's another idea, is that it could just be that it was a prophecy that they knew, but it's just we don't have record of it.
There's a lot of, from what I'm learning, a lot of the books that say, you got different people's account of things, so you take two accounts.
That's
they
right.
pick different things in different situations. Some people tell more detail, others, leave out key things as well. But
That's
you go
right.
to somebody else's, prophecy and they depict more.
Yeah, that's a good point. You see that in the Gospels. Brent, could you hear him? I know he's kind of far away. Huh? I can hear you. Were you able to hear what Gerald was saying? Okay. He was making a really good point about how different books of the Bible bring out different details, and some are more detailed than others. But the prophecy actually said that it was quoted by the prophet Jeremiah. And so in his study Bible, they had an alternate explanation, which I think is a good possibility, is that maybe it truly was a specific prophecy that Jeremiah prophesied as well, even though it's not in the prophecy of the book, in here for Jeremiah in the Bible. It may have still been a prophecy that he did give, and they may have had record of that back then, because there's a lot of books that we don't even know where they're at, but they're mentioned in the Bible, So that's a really good possibility, Gerald. I like I said, I don't really have a definitive belief as to what it is, but you got to realize that there's going to be things like that in the Bible, and there's atheists and agnostics that'll attack, and they'll look for any reason to try to disprove, and try to portray the Bible as not being accurate, And so it's important for us to think about these things, and to have an explanation. Well, it's really gotten to be pretty late, so I think this is a good place to stop, and we'll just pick up where we left off on Wednesday. Because we usually go an hour, and we went well over an hour, and I didn't realize how late it was getting. So, but anyway, we're gonna close in prayer. Time-wise, we went over